Hey, I'm ChristopherJMUA and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be creating our second look using the Jeffree Cosmetics Pricked Palette. The first look was very bright, very orangey, and this look I'm going to try to tone it down a little bit, make it a little more nude, a little more wearable, maybe a little bright pop of color, but something that's going to be just a little on the toned down side. We also got the remaining collection of the proof mascaras, so I will definitely be using both of these for today's look. So if you'd like to see what neutral, nude, wearable, everyday kind of look we come up with, if we can come up with one, and if you'd like to see what color the proof mascaras are and how they look on the lashes, then stay exactly where you are, keep doing exactly what you're doing, and keep on watching. As you can see, I have gone ahead and primed my eyes. I used my Gerard Cosmetics Clean Canvas Eye Base in the shade Fair. And I shall begin today's look using the Doll 10 Transition Transformer brush, and beginning with the shade Thorny. Now this shade is going to go all along the crease on the outer portion, and then I'll use something lighter in the inner portion, I'm sure. And of course, me being me, I have to take some shadow out and make a little wing shape. That's just the name of my shadow game. That made a really nice shape automatically. I'm not used to that. How did that happen so fast? Thank you, Doll 10. Unpeeled Pleasure is now gonna go on my Doll 10 Shadow Shader brush. And this shade is gonna be used in the inner corner of the crease. And here I'm going to attempt to make a really soft blend between the pink and the orangey brown. Shall we call it that? Oh, and after literally zero work, they just melt into one another. Talk about perfection. And now using this cute little Luxie 121 mini tapered brush, I'm gonna go into the shade Cutting Edge and use that to blend out my cutting edges. How ironic. And this is where all of the blend work happens, so bear with me. So we're going half on skin, half on shadow, and just applying pigment to begin with. Half on, half off, Daniel-san. And I know this is like the most minimal thing we could probably do, aside from one shade all over the lid. That's a pretty priceless, beautiful look. But I think this will give us a nice, soft, gentle, wearable look that's gonna have the slightest bit of definition, but still be able to call wearable. Hopefully. You guys know my version of that. Matte shades are built up. Pretty sure they are exactly where I want them to be now, mostly. I did have a little bit of trouble getting the shade Thorny to really blend out and get that soft, subtle gradient into the other shades. You can kind of see that there's more of a harder line on the edge here, but that's okay. Hopefully by the time I get the shimmers on the lid and get all my face makeup done and everything, it'll just kind of work together. But speaking of shimmer, we're gonna keep this super simple. I'm gonna use this J Sky Beauty X5 brush and take the shade Pulp Action all over the lid. But before I do that, I am going to use the brush that I used earlier for my eyeshadow base and just lightly put another little layer of base over the base I have down so I can blend out the creasing before I put another shadow on top of it. My creasing lately has been so much more intense than usual, and I know it's because I'm skipping this step. So I need to stop skipping this step. Crease is kind of cut. I didn't make it go all the way around and pull out my little wing shape like I normally do. I just want it to be on the lid so we can keep it easy, recreatable, and not dramatic. All of which are not looks I create normally. She's quite beautiful. I don't remember using this shade in my first look. Did I? I'll have to check again. Oh, by the way, if you guys didn't watch my original unboxing review first impressions of the Pricked collection, I'll leave it linked right up here so you can check out if you want to. That way you can see which mascara we used the first time and what kind of look we got the first time. It was much more bold, much more dramatic, much more orange than this. Even though this is still orange, very much so. The other one was way on the orange side. I feel like this one is taking more of the pinky coral route instead of solid orangey. In fact, I feel like this shimmer shade is almost the duplicate of the matte shade I put in the crease in the inner portion. It's just got that same sort of corally pink vibe. I don't know that I'm loving the shadow itself. It seems like it's putting a lot of texture on my eyelid and it's not looking very good. The color is beautiful and the sheen that it has is beautiful. It's just that texture is not looking good. Well, I don't know. I might have to take that back because it might have just been the kind of angle I was looking at it, creating weird shadows in weird places, because now that it's all done and I'm looking in the monitor, it doesn't look textured at all. Actually, it looks pretty badass. Brow bone is gonna be pale in comparison, not literally, but that's the shade I'm gonna use. And I'm gonna use this Morphe flat, kind of fluffy brush and just plop her down right on top in the empty spot that I didn't put any shadow. The last time I used this, I put it on top of existing matte shadow, so it of course transformed into primarily the shade that was underneath it. This time I get to experience it in all of its singular glory and figure out what actual undertones it has itself. Slightly pinky, so it's gonna work perfectly with that inner corner crease matte color and the lid color both. Perfection. And then we grab our fluffy blending brush and just go over the edge. Make sure there's no icky, straight, gross line, because we hate those icky straight ones, don't we? I realize this isn't the most interesting and creative look I've ever made, but I'm loving this so far. I like that it's light. It's a very cute daytime, bright, even fall type look. Speaking of bright, however, I do want to add a little bit more darkness, but just the tiniest bit. So what I'm gonna do is use the Dalton Transition Transformer brush, keep the thorny shade that's on it already. I'm not using the color switch or anything. And I tap the slightest bit into the shade Double Crossed. And I'm gonna take that on the outer edge and pull it all the way in a really thin line to the inner corner of the crease. This way I can kind of knock out two birds with one stone. Not that I would ever knock out a bird, because that would be vicious. But I can clean up around the edges of where I cut the crease and where I put the shimmer shadow, and also bring back some of that definition that I lost by either covering up with shimmer or blending it out too much. And that's about all I'm gonna do. You can see it just barely added a little bit more of that darkness on the outer edge to give it just a slight bit more dimension. Okay, we are soft, wearable, neutral, and pretty much close to the end of the look already. So I'm gonna go ahead and go off camera, clean up under the eyes, get my face ready so that we can finish off the lower lash line. And I believe my bright pop of color today is gonna be with a wing. So I'm gonna use these two liquid lipsticks and make an ombre wing all the way out, and that'll be my bright red orange sort of pop. Hopefully it'll be cute. Either way, I'll see you guys in just a second. Before we go in with the lipstick for the liner and the colored mascara, let's go ahead and finish off this lower lash line. Now the last time in part 1 of this collection review, I ended up going a little more orange on the lower lash line and then used an orangey toned mascara on my lower lashes, and it didn't really pop at all. So this time I plan on using the blood orange mascara on the lower lashes, so I'm gonna go a little more toned down this time so that maybe they'll stand out a little bit more. Using Twisted Fate and this Morphe M431 brush, I'm gonna go ahead and start tight lining essentially on my lower lash line, and I'm gonna go just right along the edge as close to my lashes as possible. And then using the Morphe Jeffree Star JS6 brush and the shade Cutting Edge, I'm gonna smoke all of this color out. Now that those are smoked out, I'm going to use the shades Red Rum and Coral Fixation from the Velour Liquid Lipsticks and apply an ombre liner to both sides. Now that I've applied my lipstick to my eyes, let's move on to mascara. Oh, by the way, I had to change the gloss that I had on. I'm now wearing the shade Nude Garden in the Supreme Gloss Formula. That bright orange was a great look before I put the liner on, but once I put the liner on, I just feel like it was too much, you know? They were just combative, extreme, bright colors fighting for your attention. So let's just leave the liner as the primary focus of the bright part of the look. So again, I'm gonna go ahead and just zoom you guys through the application, but I'm gonna do brown on the upper lashes. I have gone ahead and curled them so they are ready, and then I'm gonna do the blood orange on the lower lashes. With the brown and blood orange mascara applied, that's it for the look. So what do you guys think of it? I think our second look with the pricked palette went off without a hitch. I don't know that I would call it neutral per se, because it is kind of on the corally pinky side, but I would call it wearable, definitely with the pop of color because of the wing. But all in all, it's super cute and I really enjoy it. It's nice and soft, really great daytime looking sort of look, and I'm really happy that I was able to achieve it with this palette because I didn't know for sure if we'd be able to create something wearable with it, or if it was just gonna be really, really orange no matter what. The little pop of color is super fun, just a little something extra, just because. And these mascaras are so wonderful. We already know from the last video, you know, the previous one, that it was amazing using that corally orange shade. Now using the blood orange and the brown, they are just as wonderful as the coral shade, so I'm completely satisfied with all three of them, and I feel like I'm going to be using this brown one quite a bit. So that's it from me, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed creating some kind of wearable-ish look from the pricked palette. If you did enjoy it, please don't forget to give me a thumbs up just to let me know you did. Also, if you do like the look and you want to see more looks like them, you can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, and TikTok. My username is the same for everything. It's just ChristopherJMUA. And if you gain nothing out of this video, if you gain nothing out of any of my videos, then please at least gain this. And that is to always remember and never forget that you are absolutely beautiful. And I love you guys. Bye.